The expedition is funded by wealthy industrialist Elliot Vaughn. Their team includes Annie Vaughn, renowned climber Tom McLaren, mountaineer Ali Nazir, and one other. That person's not important.
Of course.
And spoiler alert, he dies. He might as well have been wearing a Star Trek red shirt. He would have been like, "Oh, I got the red shirt. Guess I ain't coming back from this climb."
Lights, camera, and action. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? We're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Let's get ready to join Anna and Jimmy as they go back and watch those movies you remember being oh so awesomely good. Horror movies that scared. Comedy movies that dared. Damn! And action movies so preposterously ludicrous that they defied the laws of common sense. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
And welcome to the I Remember Like That Movie podcast preview for Vertical Limits. Let's start by telling us what you remember about Vertical Limit.
Almost nothing.
Nothing, no?
I know I watched it. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of climbing.
Yeah.
But that's all I remember.
Snow.
Chris O'Donnell climbing, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I remember nothing else about this movie, but I know I watched it.
I know I've watched it more than once. I know it's a family thing. I know it's like an adventure action movie.
Yeah.
I do know that a few years ago it was voted the most unrealistic mountain climbing movie ever made.
Which, let me tell you, quite the feat.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a few of them.
Yeah, there's so many of them.
But I don't care. It's as long as it looks good, cool. Who cares? I did read when I was setting up the reviews. I don't know if I put it in there, so I'm going to mention it just in case because I can't remember. It was a black critic, and he was not complaining, but it's like a bunch of white people on a mountain, and why are they up on this mountain type thing? And then he called, and with that marshmallow, Chris O'Donnell. And then I'm looking at Chris O'Donnell, and he does kind of have this chubby face. So now every time I'm looking, I'm like, he is a fucking marshmallow. That marshmallow Chris O'Donnell.
It's funny though, because I think he also has the reputation in Hollywood of just being like a good guy to work with.
Yeah.
Like nobody complains about him or working with him. So marshmallow kind of doubles up. But yeah, he does have kind of like a little bit of a squarish round face.
Little Stay Puff face.
Yeah. I love you, Chris O'Donnell.
He could have been a Stay Puff Marshmallow extra.
He could have been.
All right, well, let's go to the box office. Now, I do remember liking this movie a lot.
No, I remember liking this movie as well, but I think around this time, there were quite a few outdoor winter, almost like action movies. So I'm like, of this movie, I can only guarantee I know lots of climbing and Chris O'Donnell. Like, that's all I can guarantee because they all sort of blended together.
Yeah.
It's terrible to say, but they kind of did.
They did. Okay, well, the box office for Vertical Limit it was released on December 8th, 2000. It had a budget of $75 million. It was a big budget back in the day.
Yeah.
Vertical Limit grossed $69.2 million domestically and $215.7 million worldwide, becoming the 17th highest grossing film of 2007. That's not it's okay. That's not like a bragging. Yeah. You're not bragging. So it was a success, but the big thing here would be DVD sales, rentals, all that stuff. So it did okay. I'm pretty sure everyone was happy.
They made a little profit. I'm sure there's I don't think they're still getting residuals from it because I don't know how long it's been since I've seen this like airing anywhere.
No, and I looked, it isn't airing anywhere. I think this is going to have to be a rental.
Yeah.
I wonder if we should do that for our list, see if they're easily accessed. Well, we've been renting and buying quite a few. It actually isn't that bad, except, well, you got stuck last.
I made a mistake.
Whiteout.
Whiteout, I made the wrong choice, but I'm going to watch that movie multiple times to make up for it, even though I did not like it all that much.
When I'm editing that episode, I had to watch the trailer and stuff again. That trailer looks so good.
Yeah, I
It
know.
really made it look like a pulse-pounding action flick.
Yeah, instead
And
of just Kate Beckinsale walking around lost
yeah.
and
I'm
having
like,
trouble
what
with
a
carabiners.
Yeah. All right, let's go to A Tale of the Tape. Vertical Limit was released in the year 2000. It's considered a mystery thriller, rated PG-13, and comes in at a hefty for 2000, 2 hours and 6 minutes. I know that's pretty normal nowadays, but back in the day,
Well, yeah, back in the day, if someone said 2 hours, everybody's
you're
like,
like,
"Oh my
"Ugh,
god,
what do they
that's
want,
so
an
long."
Oscar?" Jesus.
Accurate.
Doesn't have subtitles, does it? Taglines.
Hit me.
Hold your breath.
No, that's stupid.
This December, Phil will fall. Oh, fuck. I fucked it up. This December, fear will fall. Courage will rise.
That's also stupid.
Yeah. The mountain will decide.
Ooh, that one's a good one.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And that's it.
Yeah. Marketing was not being paid enough, apparently.
No, it was all in the styrofoam
Yeah.
ice walls. Synopsis. Feeling responsible for his father's death, which occurred during a climbing expedition, Peter Garrett, Marshmallow Chris O'Donnell, has quit the pursuit in favor of photography, while his sister, Annie, our friend Robin Tunney, has become a top climber. After Annie is hired by wealthy businessman Elliot Vaughn, the late, so sad still, and great Bill Paxton, to lead a trek. Inclement weather causes the crew to become trapped. Facing his fears, Peter assembles a rescue team, including experienced climber Montgomery Wick, who is the awesome Scott Glenn, to save them.
That sounds entertaining.
Yeah. He's good. He quit because he caused an accident and he has to go rescue his sister.
He didn't cause the accident. He just feels responsible
We
for
haven't
his
seen it
father's
yet.
death. No, but whenever they say he feels responsible, he's not actually responsible, but he's like, but I was there.
Yeah, I was there.
I should have double checked. I should have whatever.
And here is the movie poster. Hold your breath. Chris O'Donnell, Bill Paxton, Robin Tunney, and Scott Glenn, Vertical Limit. For those listening, it's a great poster.
It's a fantastic poster.
It's two sides of a mountain, and I guess that's a crevice or what would that be? Yeah,
it's a crevice.
Two climbers falling. No, that is a great poster. I like that.
While holding onto a rope. Yeah. The only thing is, I would probably take out Hold Your Breath and do The Mountain Will Decide, because
the mountain will decide. Yeah,
there's a mountain, like you can see the mountain through the crevice. So I'm like, that would have been nice. Just take it over the top.
All right. So let us go to.
You're already laughing?
Actually, I can't remember. I know. Yeah. It's not Whiteout bad, but 111 critic reviews have it at 49%. So almost half. Half of the critics liked it, half the critics didn't. So it's almost right down the middle. Unfortunately, 50,000 plus audience is at 41%. So most of the audience didn't like it. And the consensus is the plot in Vertical Limit is ludicrously contrived and cliched. Meanwhile, the action sequences are so over the top and piled one on top of another, they lessen the impact on the viewer. That tells me it's just action, which I'm that audience. That's awesome. Just give it to me. I don't care. I'm
a firm believer that if you're an action movie, it should be jam-packed with action. Like, period, end of sentence. I shouldn't be looking for action sequences in an action movie.
No, exactly. All right, here are the positive Rotten Tomatoes, and you may start.
Thank you. Alternately generating adrenaline and ennui, Vertical Limit battles itself to a hard-earned draw. David Anson, Newsweek.
So he's kind of 50-50.
Not enough people use the word ennui. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true. Vertical Limit is about as silly as movies come, but the only thing that really counts is whether or not the action sequences are exciting, and they are in a big way. David Nusser, Real Film Reviews, original score 3 out of 4. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if he's right, but
we'll find out.
We'll find out.
Once the initial character introductions and explanation of the rescue is out of the way, the film becomes enjoyable and thrilling. Tony Toscano, Talking Pictures. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah. Lousy character development. Unwind, eat popcorn, watch people fall off mountain. That's entertainment. Liz Braun, Jam Movies.
Oh, Liz.
Yeah.
When the characters just shut up and dangle, Vertical Limit becomes one heck of a wild time. David Germain, Associated Press. Thank you, David, because that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. All right, Rotten. I will start. The air is thin in Vertical Limit, and so is the plot. Jeffrey Westhoff, Northwest Herald, original score, 2 out of 4.
If you ever have the choice of being trapped halfway up a mountain or watching this movie, then I advise you don the parka and long underwear. Scott Nash, 3 movie buffs, original score, 1 out of 4. Damn, Scott, who hurt you?
If you've seen the trailer, you've seen the better version. Scott Weinberg, efilmcritic.com, original score, 4 out of 10.
Dang, Scott. Certainly a movie in which people are forced to test themselves in unpleasant situations. But the people I have in mind are the people in the audience. Jay Boyer, Orlando Sentinel. Jay, it's kind of harsh.
No kidding. The mountain rescue movie Vertical Limit doesn't just operate at the height of ludicrousness. It also puts Marshmallow Chris O'Donnell in the business of saving lives. Wesley Morris, San Francisco Chronicle, original score, 2.5 out of 4.
Thank you, Wesley.
Marshmallow. All right, IMDb. You may start.
I'm ready.
No, I will start. Sorry, hold on.
Yeah.
65,000 user ratings has this at 5.9 out of 10.
Okay. Movies like these make my life worth living. 10 out of 10, Milo Xylo.
Yeah. Excellent. Nail-biting chiller. Unique particle, 9 out of 10.
Action and adventure eye candy at its best. 8 out of 10. Dundee to great.
Bellino Angelo 2014 gives it 7 out of 10 and says, just an adventure movie? Why you have to be so harsh on it?
Thank you, Bellino Angelo. Not always realistic, but a fun mountaineering adventure. 6 out of 10. Leof Wine Draka. Interesting.
Yeah, that's a different name.
Yeah.
A fun time, but overkill to the extreme. 5 out of 10. Wachak.
Proving there is no limit to how bad a movie can be. 4 out of 10. JM Fan Club. JM, you still gave it a 4 out of 10.
Yeah. Well, I took the cover's advice, held my breath, and I ended up in the hospital. 3 out of 10. Smells like cheese.
Deserves at least an 8-star rating when seen as a comedy. 2 out of 10. Mjnu 59.
Oh, shit. Okay. 1 out of 10 by Ziflevbl. Ways to watch this film. Number 1. Imagine you are 8 and you have never been to the movies to see an action flick, unless you think Bambi qualifies. Number 2. Imagine that the director is the one being swept away by an avalanche or dangling over a cliff's edge. Number 3. Imagine that the film's climbing advisors are so incompetent that it is they who are sliding down the mountain after their packs. Number 4. Ignore the characters and the action. Put some good music on your iPod and just enjoy the New Zealand South Island travelogue. That's where it was filmed. Number 5. Get drunk. Very, very drunk. Number 6. Pretend it is a Star Trek film with Kirk and Bones and monsters consisting of 3 blokes under a carpet. Watch out for the tribbles. Number 7. Get high. Very, very high. 28,000 feet is not nearly high enough. Number 8. Take a small sip of vodka every time you spot a technical gaffe. Number 9. Make out in the background. Number 10. Well, it says white. I think he meant right. Write a review while watching the film to fill in the gaps.
Wow.
1 out of 10. He did not like this movie.
No, not even a little bit.
All right. So there is our box office, our tail of the tape. We are now going to watch the trailer and then predict whether or not we're going to like Vertical Limit. Here we go.
Summit team, this is Base Camp. Weather tracking shows storm building at 26,000 feet. Advise return. I repeat, advise return.
I'm pulling the plug.
I thought I was paying you to get me to the top.
I think we should keep going.
I think we've lost the summit team. This is base camp. Do you copy? This is Peter Garrett speaking. Come in.
Peter. Peter.
I got 22 hours if they're lucky.
Don't risk it.
I won't let my sister die. That's gonna be a speed ascent climbing in pairs.
They think it's suicide.
I'll write a check to whoever goes. $500,000.
Now, the lives of 3
My brother's got explosives. Says they're gonna blast their way down.
Strap on the nitro.
will depend on the courage of 6.
On a rescue mission, we don't vote, we don't question, we don't argue. You listen and do exactly as I say.
It's gonna blow! The nitro! It's gonna blow!
My sister's dying up there, Mr. Wick.
Up there, you're not dying. You're dead.
Oh, fuck. Yay!
Wow.
Get out of there, Marshmallow. Okay. I will say this. That
Yeah.
looks very cheesy,
Oh my god, so cheesy.
but it
That's-
does look fun.
I think I'm gonna love it just for the cheese factor.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope it's just not horrific. What is your prediction?
I honestly, I think I'm really gonna like it. I remember liking it.
Yeah,
I
me
don't
too.
remember much of the movie, but I remember thinking, oh yeah, that was fun. So I think I'm still gonna think it's a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be cheesier than it was in the year 2000.
Yeah. Did you go to the theater and watch it, or was this a rental, a TV?
This was a rental.
Yeah,
This
same
was a
here.
rental. Yeah. I think it was one of those blockbuster nights where you're just like, let's find something to watch. Sure, this looks
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, there were probably like 100 of them.
Yeah.
They probably had its own that from top to bottom of them, and
There was like a whole time
used to
where
love
like
that.
mountaineering was like a thing where they're like,
oh,
gain-
I know I've seen this more than once, but I have not seen this probably in about 15 years.
it's probably been about 20 for me.
20 for you. Yeah, it's been a while. So, but yeah, I think it that's a cheesy trailer, but it does look like a fun movie. So I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna like it too. Yeah.
It looks like a fun movie with a lot of overacting, and I am here for it. I am
Yeah.
super here for
Oh yeah, yeah. You're not dying. You're dead.
it.
Like, yeah.
Delivered with like the gravitas, where it's just like,
Gruffle, Scott Glenn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
All right. Well, we are going to go watch Vertical Limit, and when we come back, we are going to review it.
You heard them. Movie time. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat, and then watch a classic kick-ass movie from whenever the one we're about to watch was made.
There we go.
We were both muted.
We were both muted. Wasn't that exciting? All right. Did you watch 2000's Vertical Limit?
I did.
First, when we did the Tale of a Tape, it was considered a mystery thriller. It was not a mystery thriller.
There was no mystery.
No.
There were
This was an action adventure through and through.
100%.
Your initial thoughts?
So if a daytime drama and an after school special and an action movie had a baby, it would be this movie.
Yeah.
And I liked it. What are your thoughts?
This is a very bad movie. It was well done, but not great at delivering anything realistic when it came to action or story. It was absurd, but I had so much fun watching it. I didn't care. I mean, I did, But the good, which is the fun, the action, the adventure, and hell, I'll even say like the characters, all fun, outweighed the bad, which was realism, the story.
Yeah, there was
which
a
was
lot that
yeah.
was.
And I totally got why this is considered the most unrealistic mountain climbing movie ever made. I watched an expert give his opinion on these action scenes, and they just can't be done. Like literal limbs
Yeah.
will be ripped out of their sockets and torsos will be ripped in half.
100%.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, no, there were some scenes where I was like, yeah, that person should be paralyzed now.
Yeah.
And his arms would not have been able to stay on his body if he had done that.
No, that marshmallow wouldn't have lived.
Nope, Marshmallow
No.
would have died.
Yeah.
He would have been burnt to a crisp. There was a lot. There was a lot where I was just like, God. I started caring about the reality, and then I stopped.
Yeah, you
'Cause I
can't.
was like, if I focus on how much is ridiculous in this movie,
Yeah, you're gonna hate it.
I'm gonna have to pause it every 10 seconds so I can write a note. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, we're just gonna leave it. We're gonna assume everything that happens in it is real. Let's
Yeah.
do this.
Oh yeah, this is a
Then have
fantasy.
fun. Oh, 100%.
Okay.
100%.
So before we begin, I had my own vertical limit. I had to walk and pick up my youngest, and where I live, it goes uphill, steep, and then downhill very gradually. So coming back, it's uphill gradually. So you feel it, then it's steep going down. The 6-year-old is reckless, flopping in the snow, jumping on the sleigh because Princess doesn't like walking. So it was like a rescue mission, and I had to bring the sleigh. I had to walk and get her because the vehicle was not at home. So me and Marshmallow, Chris O'Donnell, kind of the same. My out of shapeness and the degrees of this hill, pretty comparable to what the people in Vertical Limit went through.
100%.
Yeah,
I can see it now.
So that being said, let's go through Vertical Limit. All right. Fuck this fucking first. While climbing in Monument Valley, siblings Peter and Annie Garrett suffer a tragic accident after 2 fallen climbers leave them and their father, Royce, dangling. That's obvious they ran out of money. This was on a set. This was blue screen.
Yes.
Maybe green screen. I did like the 2 amateurs falling, though. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, the 2 amateurs falling. I liked even their pack falling.
Yeah.
Like it was, the action was great, like moving very quickly. I felt bad for Dad.
Yeah.
But I was like, it is what it is.
Well, Royce, the father, forces Peter to cut him loose in order to save Peter and Annie. First, if I was Marshmallow Chris O'Donnell in his shoes, Peter, my father wouldn't have made it halfway through that speech before he was falling to his death.
He would have gotten through, do you have your knife? And you'd be like, ready.
Already on it. They'd be like, Jimmy, I want you to do something for me. And Annie would be like, what the fuck? And I'd be like, I'm pretty sure he wanted me to cut him loose to save us.
I knew it. I could feel it in my soul.
Role reverse, and I was the dad, and that was my kids. They'd be falling to death with their father.
Oh my God.
Because even if those Pop-Tarts like put 1 and 1 together and started cutting, I'd be like, please don't kill me. I beg you. It will hold us.
Well, it's funny.
Be able to live with yourself. I'll haunt you.
It's funny though, because my first moment of, oh Lord, was I'm like, who goes climbing and doesn't have a knife on them?
Yeah.
It's like, first, you always have a knife. You always have one of those little axey things.
It would have made sense if he went to grab for it and then it got knocked out of his hands or something. Yeah. Yeah.
That I would have been like, okay, cool. Like when he's trying to pull at it, the 2 fools who are hanging from him move around even more. And then he loses the knife. And then Chris O'Donnell has to like cut him down. I'm like, cool. That makes way more sense. And so after that, I suspended my disbelief.
Definitely. 3 years later, Peter has retired from climbing, but Annie has become a renowned climber. Their relationship is strained as Annie still blames Peter for their dad's death. Peter reunites with Annie at the K2 base camp where Annie is planning to summit attempt on K2. So we see Marshmallow, Peter, taking pictures with the snow leopards. His helper or guide really, really, really breaks his leg.
I know, that break was awesome.
Wow.
I literally wrote the note. I felt that leg break.
Oh,
I
it was like
felt
over
it.
the top, but it looked painful.
It also looked like a realistic. It wasn't just that he got caught or what. You were like, oh, that's
Yeah, you see his
100%
body
broke.
move and you
Yeah.
hear the crap. Yeah, it was good. Then we're introduced to Boba Fett. Hold on. Temuera Morrison,
Yep. Feels
pilot.
right.
They stop off at the Pakistan base,
Mhm.
the army base. Love this scene. They were at war with India, which they were actually in 1999. But I liked it like we're at war with them, but I love their tea.
That was the best.
Um,
It's Indian Indian tea, of course.
yeah. And they're like, it's time to wake up the Indians, and the big cannons start going. And
Yep.
yeah. So then Peter goes to the K2 base camp and talk about an awkward reunion. Him and his sister talk, and you can tell there's some unsolved issues.
Yeah, it was super awkward and it was very emotionally stunted, but also during this talk, and I just didn't feel like rewinding. I was like, other than his sister being there, his sister who he barely talks to and still blames him for their father's death, is there a reason why he's at the base camp?
I think the pilot had to go to the base camp and then he would drop him back off on the way back.
Really?
But that never happens.
No. So I was like,
because he says, I got hired to do something there as well. So I think he has to stay at the base camp for a little bit. Peter has to come with him. He says, just stay there. And then when I go back the other way, I'll drop you off.
Because I remember the conversation about, oh, your sister's at the base camp.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, but is there an actual reason why he's at the base camp other than it was a super weird scene, but I was like,
well, he did have all
families.
the medical supplies because it was the Pakistan in general was like, I got no medical supplies. And Peter's like, I just saw the helicopter. There's tons. He's like, yeah, it's not for us. That's for the
it's for millionaire Americans who want to climb. So, okay, there you go. Thank you very much. Because by the time I got to the part with the awkward conversation, I was like, do we know if Peter had a reason to be there or did he just go to see his sister?
Yeah. The expedition is funded by wealthy industrialist Elliot Vaughn. Their team includes Annie Vaughn, renowned climber Tom McLaren, mountaineer Ali Nazir, and one other. That person's not important.
Of course.
And spoiler alert, he dies. He might as well have been wearing a Star Trek red shirt. He would have been like, oh, I got the red shirt. Guess I ain't coming back from this climb. The night before the climb, Vaughn throws a party. The gala is interrupted by reclusive Montgomery Wick, reportedly the foremost K2 expert, who verbally challenges Vaughn. We later get why he verbally challenges him. This was so Shakespearean, like over the top dramatic.
Wait, where was it? I think I wrote a note about this. I was like, it feels very like stage worthy, you know?
Yeah.
And it was super dramatic because then all of a sudden he shaves his beard. Like he leaves from talking to Vaughn, he goes to his tent and then he shaves his beard with a straight razor. And you're just like,
yeah, you're like, oh, dude, you some shit.
It was like straight onto dry skin.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, you're going to cut yourself.
Yeah.
But I was like, why are you being so intense about it?
Well, we find out why later.
Yeah, I loved it. Like, I loved it.
Oh, here we go. It's later revealed that Wick's wife, an expedition guide, died during Vaughn's previous expedition. Vaughn claims they were hit by a storm, and Wick's wife died of pulmonary edema.
Pulmonary.
Right? Pulmonary edema.
Edema.
Because her supply of dexamethasone, we'll say Dex, was swept away in the storm. Wick has never believed that story and has spent years trying to find his wife's body. Yeah, he keeps going up and down trying to find her body. That doesn't happen for a while. But holy shit, was it cheesy. That thing looked like a fucking mannequin.
It's because it probably, actually, no, it was probably, they probably hired her just to stand there because there was an actual actress who was hired for that.
Really?
Yeah.
They could have put some purple and blue makeup on her?
Well, I don't know if she actually, if they stood her there, but when I was looking at the cast, I was like, why is there an actual, name?
Yeah.
An actress's name.
Oh, it could have been because there were pictures of him and her.
There were pictures, but 9 times out of 10, if it's...
Yeah, you don't get credit for that.
You don't get credit for that.
No. Let's get like
So
a couple
I'm
bucks.
just saying it's interesting to me because I'm like, oh, okay, interesting.
Back to the present day, Vaughn forces McLaren to continue despite a radio warning from base camp of hold on, wait a minute. Yeah. Of an approaching storm. Okay, yeah. So they are starting up the mountain, and I am digging all of it. I love
Yes.
adventure movies, mountain climbing, snow or not, deserts and ruins with Indiana Jones, jungles with anacondas, whatever. They're so much fun. And this is one of those overacted and unrealistic. Sure.
100%.
But there is more than one red flag for these guys, none of which I would have seen. Like, there I go up the mountain, 20 feet up, I'm sucking on oxygen tanks. 50 feet, I'm injecting myself with Dex. But they're like, watch those winds, look at those clouds, see that snow coming off some of the peaks. And Bill Paxton's character, Vaughn, talks Tom, the team lead, into keep it going. And actually, Annie agrees with Vaughn and wants to keep going.
Well, yeah, because they look at the peak. Like Tom is like, that peak looks weird. And then, Vaughn is like, oh, but it's not on all the peaks.
Yeah.
Like, it's just on that one. It's fine. And Annie's like, no, if there was a storm coming, it would be all of them. Tom's like, I don't know. And then
Tom
Vaughn convinces him. Well,
to his gut.
Tom should have known better. And Tom should have been like, yo, you want to climb up this thing by yourself and die? Go right ahead. I'm turning back. But he did not do that.
Well, that's what Vaughn said. You want to be that guy that goes down, and then when we do get to the top, you have to live that down. Your business will suck. But an avalanche occurs, and Annie, Vaughn, and McLaren become trapped in a crevice while the other two are killed. This might not have been realistic, but what a great scene.
Oh, it was so good.
The sheer force of the avalanche blowing or blasting those two off the mountain. That was awesome.
It's literally like it happened so fast. And the way they shot it is so in your face, it feels like you're there. So I was like, oh, that was jarring, but it was great. And then like the falling and I was like, yes, this is what an action movie is.
Yeah. Yeah. Tom sliding down the mountain, which if you watch the YouTube show where they get the experts, they're checking for being just how realistic. They debunk this entire scene. Actually, they debunked the entire movie, but Annie going after him, it was great. Like it was it was thrilling. And to see it, like I watched on my big TV, it was a lot of fun. This was a great scene. Radio contact is lost, but Peter hears Annie using static and Morse code to signal that they are alive. So we're not even halfway through the movie, but Dad died. Introduced to the people that are volunteering, because Wikipedia doesn't have this. Skip, I love this character, the whole introduction. He's the most experienced, apparently, on the K2, next to Wick.
Yeah.
He actually wanted to be hired by Vaughn, but he gets a movie producer who has irritable bowel syndrome. That was funny. The two brothers, Malcolm and Cyril. The cousin, Aziz, who got blown off the mountain, and his cousin, Doctor of Deep Space Nine, Dr. Bashir.
Yes.
Kareem in this movie? Yes.
Yeah, he's Kareem. And
they're also being offered $500,000 whether they come back down with Vaughn or not to anyone that goes up. And that morning, Monique joins them. She's taking the money so she can leave the mountain climbing life and go to Paris.
The French Canadian joke was my favorite thing.
That was great.
She's French Canadian.
Yeah. When she's fun and nice, she's Canadian.
But
obviously
today like she's
being a bitch, so she's French. Yeah, that was awesome. But
like,
she said she did 2 years at Everest and 2 or 3 years at K2. So
yeah.
Now we are not halfway through the movie, but it's like we got the opening, then the reason for the movie. Now the real action begins. What are we thinking at this point in the movie?
At this point in the movie, I'm like, we're going to see some very dramatic climbing scenes and montages. There's also going to be, I already knew, like as soon as Montgomery Wick decides to join them, because he's hesitant, he's resistant. But I was like, we're going to get some sort of like, I was like, Chris O'Donnell's character is going to convince him to come because he already looks like he doesn't want to go. And then he's going to give some like speech about like, you'll die up there. The mountain is looking to kill you. And the only way to stay alive is to do what I say. I was like, and then they're all going to climb and it's going to be dramatic shots and wide sweeping shots. And then everybody's going to end up in some sort of crisis.
And They do.
Yeah. But this is the awesome action movie formula where you're like, if a group is going out
Yeah.
to rescue someone or to achieve something, each and every character will end up experiencing some sort of crisis that will impede their progress, and they will be saved at the last minute. And it's just what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's what you expect.
Yeah.
Okay, so Peter assembles a rescue team, which includes Wick. Pairs are assigned, and after treacherous helicopter drop-off, each pair takes a different path to increase chances of success. Skip is sent down to the base camp because he's the only one Wick trusts. If I wasn't getting that 500K, I'd be protesting. That near-death helicopter drop-off seemed a tad unnecessary. It was cool.
It was so cool. But I was like, you can't just like, you can do a little bit of wavering, but you don't have to almost cut off Monique's arm. Like, you don't have to go that
poor
far.
Monique, our cool Canadian / bitchy French chick, had the roughest of time. Like, I would be like, fuck this. Fuck the billionaire.
Yeah.
Fuck your sister. Jimmy out. She didn't miss a beat. Those helicopter blades, first, so close to her face.
So close to her face, cut up her
Then
jacket.
ripping up
on
her
arm.
jacket. Yeah.
I was like, girl, go home.
Yeah.
Go home.
After everything settled, people would be like, what the fuck smells like shit? I'd be like, it's me. I just about got tossed like a salad from those helicopter blades. Forgive me for shitting myself.
Oh my God.
We should also go over, because surprise, surprise, Wikipedia didn't cover this, because looking ahead here, each pair, carries a canister of explosive nitroglycerin donated by the Pakistani army to clear the entrance to the crevice. Right. So before this all took place, Marshmallow has an idea, and he is really good friends with this military group. They give him some nitroglycerin, because why not? 3 of them, I think, canisters.
Always, by all means.
And as they're doing it, Skip is standing in a puddle of it. Thank God Boba Fett was there. He takes Skip's shoes off and tosses it, that big explosion.
Yep.
No one seems to be too concerned that this shit is leaking.
Nope.
Like, they take a bunch of it and strap it to their backs.
They're like, cool, let's put it in our backpacks.
Yeah.
While we're climbing a mountain.
Yeah. So we don't see it leak right away.
Covered in snow that could come crashing upon us at any point.
Yeah.
Let's do that. I was like, you guys are a bunch of fools. Especially, I'm like, they're leaking. Shouldn't you check?
Yeah, just
like,
to
check and make sure that they're like solid and like locked up. Nope. They were like, no. We're just gonna strap them in and keep going.
Monique and Cyril experience a harrowing incident after Cyril loses his balance off the edge of a cliff. Wait, wasn't it Malcolm that went with Monique?
No.
It was Cyril was the older, bigger brother? I thought Cyril was the younger nut bar.
Wait.
I'm really considering my monthly donations of $3 to Wikipedia.
No, it was Cyril. Yeah.
Cyril is the older one?
No, Cyril is the
bigger one?
The younger one.
But wasn't the bigger one with Monique?
Possibly.
Cyril was with Kareem.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Okay, Wikipedia got it wrong. Okay. While Monique attempts to rescue Malcolm, their nitro canister falls over the cliff and explodes, causing another avalanche. This was another great scene. I know a lot of the critics complained about just overload of action. I loved it.
Well, what were they going to do? Fill it with dialogue?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, this dialogue was serviceable and good enough at little increments.
You know what? It rolled the story along where it needed to be rolled.
Yeah. Had a bit of humor in there. We don't want too much of it, though.
No.
The whole Monique trying to save him, the explosion, Monique falls, but Malcolm makes it up. You hear the snow just dropping and his eyes widening as he turns around, and he gets blasted off the mountain. I never got tired of people getting just thrown off those mountains. I wish there were more climbers so more of them could get thrown off the mountain.
You're a little twisted.
Oh, it was awesome to see. Monique survived, but Malcolm does not. At the military station, the nitroglycerin canisters are exposed to sunlight and explode. That was a cool scene too.
That was.
And I have to inject the characters and all the dialogue, while not like Oscar worthy, like we just said. The characters are very likable.
Yeah.
The Pakistani army, the climbers,
Yep.
the ones down at the base camp. Yeah,
Mhm.
the good characters.
100%.
I like Cyril and Dr. Bashir, Kareem, that whole praying scene where
Yes.
Cyril is like, really, you're praying? And then he's looking at the nitroglycerin container and Cyril's like, yeah, I guess it can't hurt.
And then I think he said like, oh, well, maybe I'll pray too. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
We can do this.
Yeah. Wick is like Shakespeare in the Park cheesy, and Marshmallow isn't far behind.
Yeah.
Base camp tells the team to get the cases of nitro into the shade.
Mm.
Again, I am not a scientist, but I am guessing everything about this was maybe science adjacent, realistic adjacent.
Maybe across the river from science and realism.
Yeah.
But I mean,
but it was cool.
No, it was super cool.
Yeah.
But I was like
pulse
nice.
pounding, like when they were trying to race to get into the shadows there and cover it with snow so it wouldn't explode. I was actually very upset when Malcolm died.
Me too.
Kareem and Cyril do so, but their canister leaks fluid into the sunlight, causing another explosion that kills them. They're laughing about almost dying.
Yeah.
And they just died. They were incinerated. Like, you see their bodies just vaporize.
And that made me sad.
Yeah, because it was all blood and guts, and then just the snow just blows it all away. And I'm like, I like those guys.
In the explosion, I was like, is that a body part flying?
Yeah.
They were
very
saying, I was
quick,
like,
but you just saw like it was all red and gooey and body parts. Yeah. But very quick.
So I was like, no, I liked you guys.
Yeah, they were awesome.
And they were gone.
And they're dead.
And then I said to myself, oh, this is one of those movies, where there are only like 2 survivors. And I'm like,
yeah,
all right, everybody's going to die.
Underground, McLaren is severely injured and has lost his decks. To be fair to this movie, they do go back and forth. Like, we haven't talked about it, but at first, when they first are down there, everything is camaraderie with Vaughn and Tom and Annie. Then with each time we go back, it's getting bleaker and bleaker. Like, they had 36 hours to start.
Yeah, roundabout.
Like, they had to ration half a cup of water each for every couple hours. Then they would resort to their deck shots, melt the water when they could, because I guess you can't just suck on the snow up there. And Tom didn't look, who wanted to turn back. He's not looking good. That blood was pooling in his stomach underneath the skin there. And he's like, we need to give him more shots. Vaughn is like, we're just wasting it on him now. Even if they get here, he's not making it out. So it's all silly and overacted and not realistic. But I'm liking it. I'm into it. And more importantly, I'm having fun. And just in case anyone listening hasn't guessed by now, I'm totally Team Vaughn. I wouldn't be giving Tom shit.
And
I'm like, oh, look, Tom fell off the ledge.
See, and I would have been Team Annie pushing Vaughn, not Vaughn. Yeah, Vaughn off the ledge. I'm like, that's what I want. I need Vaughn to turn his back, and I need Annie to just shove him off.
Annie shares her decks with him, but Vaughn refuses it. Annie risks her life to reach Allie's backpack and manage to obtain more decks. But Vaughn says that since McLaren is unlikely to survive, he and Annie should keep the decks for themselves. He's not wrong. People can argue all they want, but trying to do the good thing, but we know. We know under the circumstances.
No. Tom totally could have survived. Tom totally could have survived because they got rescued not long after Tom died.
Yeah, but then you got to get Tom down. That's the whole thing.
Tom's not moving. You can just hoist him up.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
The explosions have shaken loose some ice, and Wick finally discovers his wife's body. This is that part of the party nacho platter when you grab a nacho and you pull it and you get this whole big gob of cheese with it. Like, holy shit, Uncle Bill, that's a lot of cheese. She didn't even look remotely real, and now you're telling me she was actually an actual person that got credit for this part.
Well, she's cast. They cast someone for her.
Yeah. So, 75 million, and that's the best you could do.
The funny part is the way she's in the snow.
Yeah.
Like, she's holding her hands up. She's not wearing I don't think she was wearing gloves.
No.
Her jacket is open. I was like,
Just, taking it
what
easy. She was out for a stroll.
the fuck? Yeah. I was like, none of
Sure
this
is
makes
snowy
sense.
up here.
But okay.
Okay, the empty Dex container nearby suggests that Vaughn lied and stole her Dex, ensuring his own survival while leaving Wick's wife to die. Monique, Peter, and Wick camp for the night. Peter is wary of Wick, who seems more intent on taking revenge than in rescuing the survivors. In the crevice, Annie falls asleep and Vaughn kills Tom with a syringe full of air
Mm-hmm.
to avoid having to give Tom more Dex.
Yep.
Wick awakens to find Peter and Monique have left without him. Yeah, because they were afraid that he was just going to go after Vaughn. Annie and Vaughn manage to mark the crevice entrance by detonating a flare inside a bag of McLaren's blood, which explodes over the snow. Again, I don't know how realistic this was, but it looked cool.
It looked very, very cool.
Gross.
So gross.
And I will remember this next time I go skidooing and happen to wipe out. Pity the poor bastard that comes with me. They're like, why are you cutting me? I saw it in Vertical Limit. There's a gas station over there. What if it's closed?
Oh, Lord.
Peter and Monique see the marker and use the nitro to blast hole. Yeah, he drops a little message down, blows the whistle.
Yeah.
Drops it, and it has a thing and says bang. So, and she knew that the nitro was coming. Wick attaches a clip to, no, hold on. They drop a rope and Vaughn harnesses Annie. I'm surprised. I thought Vaughn was going to hop on first.
Honestly, I thought so too. Not gonna lie.
Wick descends into the cave, and although Vaughn thinks Wick will attack him, Wick attaches a clip to Vaughn. Monique and Peter attempt to pull Annie out of the crevice, but an ice boulder falls, knocking Wick and Vaughn from the ledge in the crevice and pulling Annie and Peter down, creating a scenario similar to the opening scene. Of course it does.
Yep.
And if you're listening or watching, this is one of those can it get any cheeser moments, and then this happens. But it's been like this the whole time, so it totally makes sense. Monique alone remains on the ledge holding the rope from which the other four are dangling. To save Annie and Peter and fulfill his desire for revenge against Vaughn, Wick cuts the rope and he and Vaughn falls to their death. I love how Vaughn is just
he's
just struggling and yelling.
Like, no,
don't
no.
do it.
And Wick's just there like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was no for the greater good coming from this guy.
Yeah, I know. He's like, fuck the greater good. I don't care. I'm taking him with me.
Recovering at base camp, Annie reconciles with Peter. I should hope so. Who then pays his respects to a makeshift memorial for climbers who have died. And that is our movie. That was our movie, everybody. That was Vertical Limit. So, what was your score for Vertical Limit?
I am a rent it girl. I think this is totally worth a rental. It is a dumb action movie filled with actors who are good actors, but for some reason, like Robin Tunney decided that she was, melodramatic and on a soap opera. Chris O'Donnell decided that he was actually doing an after-school special or an episode of Saved by the Bell. Montgomery Wick, Scott Glenn, he was doing
Hamlet.
Yes. Like serious Hamlet, like crossed with Kung Fu The Legend Continues. Like it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Everyone else was
acted normal.
Yeah. Was
I
very
don't know what it
serviceable.
was. But the people who had the most, like, I remember there's one point where Bill Paxton, he had this look on his face while they were in the crevice, and I was like, you're entering your cartoon villain era. Like, it was so extra. And I was like, this movie, the main actors, people who have the most screen time. So extra. So over the top. But then again, so is all the action. This entire movie is extra and over the top. A lot of the sequences, not realistic, they don't make sense, but they are a lot of fun. This entire movie is a lot of fun. Do I think you should buy it and watch it repeatedly? No. Because we don't want people to get any dumber than they already are. However, renting it, watching it, totally behind that. It's a fun one.
All
What do you
right.
think? What's your review?
My score. this is not a great movie, per se. This is not a horrible movie. It is also too good and too well done to be considered so bad it's good. This is 100% a guilty pleasure. It's not realistic. It's so cheesy. It's over the top, but it works. Once you let go of the realism part, it's a good time. The acting and dialogue for a lot of it is fun and well done. For a lot of it, it's very overacted and almost Shakespearean levels. The characters are great and fit this movie perfectly. But the action is where the movie shines and makes it all work on a level that it's just fun to watch. Vertical Limit is not going to win any awards. It didn't. But it did win a place on my movie shelf, is what I would have said if I had bought it. I rented it. I should have bought it. I will definitely watch this movie again. Like I said, this is a guilty pleasure. But let's say, realistically, find it it's a discount buy. It's definitely worth like I wouldn't pay full price for this, but if you find it for like Whiteout was $10 or rent it for $5. I've seen movies where they're like $5, $6.99 on sale and stuff. That is what this movie is. This is not a $15-$20 movie. If you find this at a discount, it's worth it because you'll probably watch it. You'll watch it more than once. It's just a fun, dumb action movie. I rented it too, and I was not upset. I was more than happy. I had fun. I had no regret renting it. I wish it was $8 or $9 to buy. I would have. I still would have rented.
Well, that was my thought when I went to see what the price was, because it showed me how much it was to rent. And I was like, oh, how much is it to buy? And it was $14.99, and I was like,
$15. $10. I might took that chance.
10 15? Maybe.
No,
if it was like 7 or 5, 100% I would have bought it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's a dumb action movie. I'm not gonna, cry in my cereal if I don't like it. It's okay. But no, I was like, that was a lot more fun than I thought it would be. So I mean, if I ever see it come up and it's discounted for purchase, I'll probably end up buying it just because I'm like, it was kind of fun and everybody was overacting. And it was just
it worked.
So it worked. I'm like, you're watching it for the action.
Yeah.
You're not watching it for the dialogue. You're not watching it for the interpersonal relationships. You're just like, also I realized what they were. It's small town community theater. That's what this movie was.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Small town community theater.
That's a good way of putting it. Yes.
If you're someone who likes to go to small town community theater and you have a kick, like just watching them go, feel free to rent or buy this movie. You'll love it.
But where this movie shines is its action, because even for how old this movie is, the action is still amazing. It's still totally unrealistic, but amazing.
Nature doesn't work like that.
No.
But there were a lot of times where I was like, oh shit. And I was like, oh, look at you still looking new and shiny, like 20 odd years later.
Yeah. All right.
I think this is a good one.
We have a rent it and a buy it at a discount. All right. So remember to like and subscribe below. And if you are listening or watching on YouTube, tell us below what you thought of the movie. And is there anything else you'd like to add about Vertical Limit?
No.
All right. Thank you for joining us and previewing and reviewing 2000 Vertical Limit. And until the next movie we remember liking.
Congratulations. You just had one of your childhood movie memories vindicated. Or they just eviscerated it. I don't know. This is a generic one-size-fits-all type of ending to the podcast. So thank you for listening, and please join Anna and Jimmy next time for another episode of the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. If you dare to go back and watch that movie you remember liking,